Good day to you out there. Glad to be with you. One of the major challenges I had when I started pastoring was relationship matters. I just realized that I was counseling married people. I was not even married myself. When our church started, I was single. I got married 6 months after the church started. I got tired dealing with issues, so I ran to God to help me. And God said, you're going to counsel more except you change your approach. And then I realized that, marriage is that institution where people get certified before they start the school. Every other thing you do, to become a cinematographer, to become an accountant or an engineer, you go to some level of training and they now certify you. But marriage, we just get excited, especially for the day, and then they give you a certificate and then ask you to live the life. Most people don't know jack when they get married. No wonder things don't function well. So I began to explore, and my exploration so far has blessed me, my marriage. I've been married for 20 years, and God has helped us a whole lot. And I've also seen the counseling need in the church reduce a lot. Let me share some of the things that really helped us. Then 3 blocks. Okay, the first one is differences. Okay, well, maybe we can say everything is encapsulated in differences. Just to understand that we are different. The man is different from the woman was a huge breakthrough for me. We realized that most men want the women to behave like men, and the women too want the men to think like women. It's not going to happen. There are fundamental differences between a man and a woman. In fact, the way we are physiologically structured, that's biological setting, the brain setting, is so different. So a man cannot be a woman, or a woman cannot be a man. So we think differently. For instance, men are logical. There are a few exceptions, but men are logical, but women are emotional. So when things come up, a man will bring out logic to you. 1 + 1 = 2. 2 + 2 = 4. But a woman, 1 + 1 does not necessarily equal to 2. It depends on one of the ones. If one of the ones has typhoid fever or is sick, it will not end up as 2. So you realize that the arguments can ensue because of the difference in the approach. Your wife is different from you. And I want every single man or woman to understand that your man, as a lady, your man will not think like you. He's different. Understanding those differences. Some people are right-handed, some are left-handed. For instance, I am left-handed and I love it. Maybe you are right-handed. We are different. I like you for being right-handed. You must appreciate me for being left-handed. When I'm writing, I always turn the book, and somehow it might look awkward to you, but that's my own zone. If you don't understand how love works, you're going to destroy your relationship, because you'll always be looking at things from your perspective alone. No, it's not only your perspective. 3 + 1 = 4. 4 + 0 = 4. Isn't it? 6 - 2 = 4. 5 - 1 = 4. 1 + 3 = 4. So the way your spouse or your friends will see things will always be different. Understand that. It will reduce unnecessary tension and fights. Love is always sacrificial, okay? Don't always, the moment you always look at things from your own perspective. Many of us grew up in homes where one of the parties in our parents, always want things to be done their own way. And it's a recipe for chaos. It's time to see the other person. Now, the other area that is helping us is understanding what we call love languages. Maybe you've heard it before. And some people say, what is that? Is it not psychology? Well, it's life about relationships. Even God in his word says obedience for him is better than sacrifice. What does that mean? He prefers you to obey than trying to amend ways and sacrifice. Yes, he can forgive you. Yes, we can sort it out. But he's saying at the top of my love language is obedience. So God has a love language, which is obedience. Okay? So what we're saying is this. What makes you feel loved is not the same thing that makes me feel loved. Let's say I have a friend called Clinton, for instance, and what makes my friend Clinton feel loved is not what makes Yemi feel loved. We're different. It's like fishing. When you go to fish, for instance, fish, they like worms. Fish, worms. We human beings, we don't eat worms. But the fish like the worms. So when you want to fish, you don't go and put something that looks like worms, which you like noodles. Noodles look like worms. You don't put noodles on the hook thinking that the fish will like. No, you put what the fish likes. You don't like it. And that's the way it works. What makes your spouse feel loved is not the same thing that makes you feel loved. One of those great authors was talking about the different love languages, quality time. For some people, their primary love language is quality time. For somebody else, their primary love language is acts of service. Those who love acts of service, when you do things for them, I'm acts of service, for instance. I like things to be done neatly, orderly, on time. When you do that, I feel loved. But somebody else whose love language is words of affirmation, they feel loved when you speak the right things to them. You have to understand this. For some people, their love language is receiving gifts. Of course, it's like everybody in our developing nation like receiving gifts. But for some people, symbols of love, like physical symbols of love, will touch them better. So when you buy a gift for them, not necessarily on their birthday or on an anniversary, it gets to them. So if your spouse's love language is like that, on your way from the office, from work, branch somewhere, to a mall, get a little gift. And then when you get home, it's not her birthday, it's not the child's birthday, it's just that you thought you thought of getting something for her. Boy, you are building a good home that way. For somebody else, it's the right words, kind words, encouraging words. Now, when we say primary love language, we are saying everybody needs those things. But for some people, it's just prime. Understand your spouse. Understand your friends. What is their primary love language? And then make deposits based on their own primary love language. The relationship will be enriched. When you have issues, you make withdrawals. Crisis will erupt in any relationship the moment the withdrawals are more than the deposit. So when you understand the person's love language, you'll be able to make more deposits. I want to encourage you, find the book, 5 Love Languages, Devoid. Your relationship is either a heaven or hell on earth. Nobody loves hell on earth. So invest in yourself. The other block, which I'll just run through, is about temperaments. Some of us are extroverts, some of us are introverts. We're different. In fact, I realize in most marriages, opposites attract. When somebody's introverted, they like the extrovert that can express themselves, the sanguine. I like this guy. He knows how to socialize, he can talk. The extrovert also likes the introvert. I like this babe, or this girl, or this guy is quiet, is calm, and then they come together and they complement each other. But after some years in marriage, all those things can become a problem. Understand that we are different. Some people are introverted, some are extroverted, some are the cholerics, project-driven, some are the sanguines that talk more than they think, some are the melancholists that think more than they talk, some are the phlegmatics that are methodical. They are very logical and methodical. The phlegmatics can stay in a company for 30 years. They stay. But the sanguine, they can jump from here to there. I'd like you to read after these things. The more knowledge you have about relationships, the more you can relate with people well, not just marriage. The moment you can handle day-to-day relationships very well, marriage will suffer. Maybe these bits of wisdom will enrich your relationship life. I hope to see you another time. Have a beautiful new season. Bye.